Hello everyone, welcome to the Southern Scally Capper. Today it is the Azalea versus the Azalea. We're going to find out which one is better. Is it going to be the Plaid or the Patchwork? Let's get to it. Here it is. This is the Azalea by Boston Scally Company. Both the Patchwork and the Plaid are both 8-panel poly blend caps. Boston Scally also includes a dust bag with both caps. Here is the Plaid in hand. This is the Plaid. This is a beautiful looking cap. I was really blown away by this one. I am actually a big golf fan, so I was looking forward to the Masters this year, and Boston Scally actually re-released the Master, and then they did some of the fairway caps, which was a new cap, and some older ones as well because the Master was an older one. But then they released the Azalea, and at first I believe that the Plaid, the one here, is the one they first teased, and they teased this cap, and the moment I saw it, I really liked it, and then I saw the other one, and I really liked it too, and I was already planning on getting 3 caps. It was about that point again where I thought there were a couple that I wanted, so I went ahead because Boston Scally does actually have a deal if you get 3 at one time. So I thought, hey, what the hey, I'll do the 3. And so I ended up getting up both of the Azaleas, picking up both of the caps, and I am happy with both of them. This is, like I said, this is the Plaid version of the Azalea, and you see the pin there, and I will show it here as well. Now both caps, they both actually come with this pin, or not with it, but it is the Azalea pin, and it's the same pin for both caps, so that is really cool. And so as you see on the inside is actually similar. It's actually probably, I think, exactly the same for both Azalea caps, for both the Plaid and the Patchwork. But what I really like about the inside, and it's on both of these, is that you see there, the sweatband has the Azaleas on it. And I thought that was just a really cool touch. It was really neat. I thought that they included that. I thought that was just a nice design thing they did there. So very, very nice what they did there. And they both do come with the Azalea dust bag. It looks very much like the Masters, right? I hope this video doesn't get flagged for saying the Masters too much. Augusta, they're very particular about their merchandise, about anything that has to do with the Masters. Boston Scally actually had to even call their cap the Master, not the Masters cap, because they will come after you. And if you think Boston Scally caps have a high resale value, just take a look at anything with the Masters. Oh my goodness, it goes for ridiculous prices. The shirts, all sorts of stuff that you can get from the golf tournament there, it goes. But I really, for such a high amount, but I really thought that the Azalea was such a cool name because all of the holes at Augusta National at the Masters are actually named after a plant or a shrub or a tree, and Azalea is the 13th hole. So I thought that was really cool, and the Azalea is actually part of a larger group of holes, which is known famously as Amen Corner. So a really famous group of holes there, and so the Azalea is a part of that. So I thought that it was really cool that Boston Scally did that because that's such a well-known course, of course. And people know that course. If you don't know anything else about golf, you've heard about the Masters. So such a cool thing to do, I think, by releasing both of these caps simultaneously. And this is, again, this is the Plaid, and it is, I really do like the colors on here. You know, the pinks, they really do pop on this cap, and then you have the green, the holes there, which are really nice as well, the eyelets, and then just a great looking cap, you know, really, really nice. And I particularly, like I said, like the pin on this one. I think it's really cool. So that is the Plaid. So now let's take a look at the Patchwork. And this one looks, of course, there is a lot more going on here on the Patchwork cap. You have, essentially, this is the entire cap on the Plaid cap, but then you have this green herringbone here as well. And I thought, again, that this was a black and gray herringbone, but no, this is actually a pinkish herringbone with the black. So that's really neat. You have this, looks like a beige, almost like a corduroy looking color there. And there's the pin on this cap as well. And again, I think even with this pattern, the pin pops maybe even a little bit more than it does on the Plaid, because you do have it against the green herringbone there. And like I said, the interior, now you do have the Plaid brim here, and so that does stand out from these two patterns here, which is really nice. I'm always a fan of that. But you have the same sweatband in there, so a very nice touch. And of course, there's just, you know, there's no way around it with the Patchwork. There's just more going on. You know, I mean, that's just so obvious. But, you know, sometimes I do like the more simplistic, especially when a cap pops like the Plaid does with those pinks. So it was really a hard decision for me to pick which one was my favorite. I will say that these are both the same size, as these are both medium larges, but this one fits a lot better than the Plaid does. The Plaid was a little tighter, so not to the point where it was completely uncomfortable, but it was enough that I did have to put it on a hat stretcher, and I stretched it out just a little bit. You know, that's one of the things with Boston Scally Company. I don't think anybody can, you know, you can't get around that with them sometimes, because they do have sizing issues. And this just happens to be one of those times. So, you know, this one, the Patchwork, it was, it did fit just a little bit better than the Plaid did, like I would expect with the medium larges. But on the head, you know, you can see all the different patterns here. And they just look, I think, great. I really like when Boston Scally, you know, takes the traditional herringbone and then they make it a little something more unique, just like they did with this cap, because that is, a, you know, like I said, a pinkish herringbone. I just think that's cool, you know, and it goes along, of course, with the Azalea, with the color scheme there. And it's just a cool thing to do. And so I'm going to go ahead and I am going to pronounce which cap I like better. And it's so funny because I really had one in mind that I thought that's going to be my favorite. And then you get these caps in your hand, you get to see them in real life, and sometimes they just look a little bit different. The way they fit on your head, everything. And so for me, it is going to be, the winner is, out of these two, out of the Plaid and out of the Patchwork right here, I'm going to go with the, you know what it is? The Patchwork. It is. And it's so funny because I really thought, when I was looking at these caps on Boston Scally's site, I thought it's going to be the Plaid, because I just love the way that look. I wasn't particularly sold on this cap, but I just thought, you know, like I said, I did the 3 cap thing, so I thought I'll give them both a shot, and this was the one. It was the Patchwork that I thought ended up looking better. But I really do want to know what y'all think. Which is your favorite out of these 2 caps? Is it the Patchwork right here, or is it the Plaid? Because they are both, you know, in my opinion, both great caps. I've worn them both since I got them, and I really do like them both. I think they both have their own strengths. But but this one, I think, just it's just a little bit more interesting. It has more going on, and I think that it also fits better. But really, it's just once I got it in hand, I was like, yeah, there's really no question. This is the one. And so that is it for my my first versus video, I guess. I don't know how many more caps will be like this, where Boston Scally you know, does something with the same name, but then a different style of cap. So it was interesting that they did do this. So it was really neat. So that is my versus video for you today. I really hope you enjoyed this because I really enjoyed doing it. It was a nice little departure from the typical one cap review videos. So thank y'all so much for joining me today, and I do hope that y'all have a great rest of your day.